Welcome back, friends. It's so good to be with you again. We're going to be doing another drawing today, and it's the third part in our video series about drawing techniques. So we're going to build off of what we learned in the first video with the 6 techniques, and we're going to use them to be drawing an object today. So I'm going to be using an apple because it's just fun. It's used still lifes and apples in a lot of still lifes over the course of art history. But if you don't have an apple, you can use another piece of fruit or any roundish type object like a ball or a glass or something like that. So go ahead and pause the video and find your object now. Okay. You also need a piece of paper and pencil, and that's it. So if you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera and we'll get started. Okay. All right, so just like we did with the first video, I'm going to hold my paper vertically and I'm going to divide my paper into 6 sections. Just to be quick, I'm not going to fold it, I'm just going to draw it today. 1 vertical line down the middle, 2 horizontal lines to make 6 sections. Okay, if you remember from the video, we did 6 different techniques. And the first one that we did, we called hatching. And go ahead and write it at the top of your paper. You can pause the video whenever you need to if you need more time. This is how you spell hatching, but we are going to be using that technique for our first drawing. So for each of these drawings, we're going to want to draw the outline of our object. And to draw the outline of an apple, you're just going to make a C, kind of a capital C, and then do a backward C right next to it. Okay, then you're going to make your stem come up. And then right up here, I don't know if you can see it on here, but where the stem goes in, it's kind of a little circular part that indents, and so I'm going to draw kind of like a semicircle right there. Okay, now that my outline is done, I can go ahead and start the hatching. Now, if you were to take a flashlight and shine it right on the apple, on this side of the apple, it's like the light is shining and hitting right there. So this side of the apple is going to be very, very light, and this side is going to be dark. So that's what we're going to do for each drawing. We're going to make the light part over here and the dark part over here. So for the hatching, remember it was vertical lines right next to each other. And the more you do next to each other and the more you overlap them, the darker it's going to be. Remember, it's not pressing harder, it's the more layers that you do. So then over here, I'm going to spread them out and do less of them because it's lighter over there. And as I gradually get closer to this side, it's going to get more and closer together. And you can go over it several times to make it darker. Now up here where the stem attaches, it's a little bit darker right there. So I'm going to do a few hatching lines right there and on this side. And then up here, this part of the apple, as it goes back down and around, it is also a little bit darker. So I'm going to make a few little lines up there. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So that is hatching, and that's our first technique. Okay, let's move on. The next one was cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is very similar to hatching. Cross-hatching. We're going to first draw our outline, our C, then our backward C with our stem, and our little semicircle. Okay, now cross-hatching is going to be lines right next to each other but in different directions. So this one I'm going to start this way, then I'm going to turn my pencil and go the other direction. I'm going to turn my pencil again, up here, make a few more lines. This is my favorite technique. For me, it is the most forgiving. It allows you to make mistakes and be able to cover them up. Because the more lines you put and the more you go over and over it, those lines are just going to blend together and you're not going to see the pencil marks anymore. Okay, so over here where the light is, I'm just going to do a few, not many. But as I get closer to the dark, those increase. They get closer together and I do more layers over top. Okay, then up here, as that round part is going back, I do a few up there. And on this side, just a few. And then right where that stem connects down in that little circle part. All right, so that is hatching, friends. And you can do more lines the darker you want that edge over there over top of each other. Remember, it's more lines, it's not pressing harder. If you press harder, you just make indentions in your paper, and that's not good. All right, the next one was called Stippling. If you remember this one, this was the hardest, I think. We're just gonna make our shape, our two C's connected, our stem, our little semicircle. This one was the dots, and this one your hand gets super, super tired. So over here we're just going to do a few dots, not very close together. Over here we're going to try to do a lot of dots real close together, and that's what makes it darker. The more dots you have closer together, the darker it's going to look. So just go for it. Make your lines. Pause the video if you need to. I also understand if your hand is getting tired and you just need to do a few and then take a break. We'll just do a little bit up here, maybe a little bit up here. Okay, if I had more time, I'd really concentrate over here and on a lot more of those dots, but we're gonna move on. Okay. That was stippling. The next one, we called it scribbling. Remember this one I said is the only time I'm going to let you scribble. In class, normally I say no scribbling. So we're going to make our C's, our stem, our semicircle. And then this one was the circles. Connected over and over again. You don't pick up your pencil at all. You just are doing circles, not lines, circles. And the more you do over top of each other, the darker it's going to get, and you're going to see those lines less and less. Okay, and then as we spread them out, the lighter it's going to look. So we're going to spread them out over here and not do as many over top of each other. And then over here, we're going to do more and more. Just layer and layer and layer it up. Okay, do a little bit up here, and then some right down in here. All right, now is scribbling. Okay, two more. We're in the home stretch. The next one was called scumbling, very similar to scribbling, but instead of circles, you do just squiggly lines. So we'll make our apple. Getting a little sloppy, aren't I? And we just do a bunch of squiggles. Just lots and lots of squiggles over top of each other. The more squiggles you do in one area over top of each other, the darker it's going to look. So again, we're making this side darker. This side we're leaving lighter because that's where the light was shining. A little bit up there, a little bit down in here where the stem connects. And you're good to go. Okay, last one. The last one was called erasing, or we had another word for it called rendering. But I think erasing is easier to remember. So we're just going to do our shape. Okay, now for this one, we turn our pencil sideways and we just fill in the whole thing with gray. Remember? We just fill in that whole thing as best as we can. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to and come right back. Just if you need to fill that in better. All right. Now we're going to take our eraser and the lightest area, which was right here, we're going to press harder with our eraser, and that's going to erase it more. And then as we go up and out, we go lighter with our eraser so it doesn't erase as much. So it leaves it like a light gray instead of more white like the paper. So we just lightly now touch the paper with the eraser, and that erases just a little bit. And it leaves a nice light gray. And then it gradually gets darker. And then we're going to take our pencil and we're going to make that area over here just a little bit darker. So we have a nice contrast between light and then we gradually get dark. We go back with that was a little too much of our eraser and lightly just erase it. And now it blends really nicely from light to dark. And up here, we'll just add a little bit more back to where that stem connects. Okay, that was it. We used our 6 techniques to draw an object. Great job, guys. Thanks for joining, and hope to see you next time. Stay safe and healthy. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.